Hello, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to more CSGO news. I hope you guys all enjoy. Let's hop right into it, guys. The stories will be timestamped down below in the description, hopefully in the comments as well. But do me a favor today. If you're ever going to leave a comment on a video of mine, please make it today, guys. Comment down below now or throughout the video your thoughts, your opinions, your fixes for this new game mode. That, of course, being CSGO Danger Zone, guys, the brand new survival mode / battle royale announced yesterday. I'm sure you guys have heard the announcement, so let's break down as well throughout the video everything wrong with it. But there was also on top of that some huge announcements, and I think overall, guys, to summarize my own thoughts before we really break it down, this is an overall positive step in the right direction for CSGO, and it still makes me very excited. Yesterday was definitely history marking for CSGO, one of the biggest updates we've ever seen, and I cannot wait to see where this does take itself. Alongside that, though, CSGO is now free. There's a lot of mixed opinions out there, but keep in mind, guys, kind of overlooked as well, it is free, so anyone can now play CSGO, but to get Prime status, you have to pay the same 15 bucks you did before. So for all of you guys who want to avoid cheaters, a lot of you watching this video already own CSGO, which means you already have Prime status, and in matchmaking or competitive game modes, you will avoid those cheaters. Now, I'm not going to avoid the fact, though, this of course will bring in tons of cheaters. For instance, we all know China, guys. CSGO released in China 14 months ago have now broken 725,000 accounts with bans, which is absolutely shocking, right? So no doubt, of course, CSGO in China is also free, to give you guys a reference for that. So making it free all across the world is certainly going to bring in cheaters. No one is denying the fact about that, but overall, guys, a step in the right direction. And with the brand new release of Danger Zone, this allows other people out there to introduce themselves to the game of CSGO itself, as well as different game modes within it, and I think certainly going to be a great step forward. Although I will not deny it, guys, this could be a bit rough for the next month or two as we work with all these cheaters and all the likes of people who are going to join this game and not really want to play it fairly. But I don't think it's going to be a huge issue as people make it out to be. This will always be a side game mode. This only adds to the CSGO game mode. It will not hurt the main game, in my own opinion. You guys could defer from that if you want to. And again, I cannot wait to see where they actually take this new game mode. Along with that, guys, a brand new case, the Danger Zone case. I'll skip through these skins very fast because let's be honest, guys, who is still buying CSGO cases in 2018? I'll give you a second to think about that. So let's break down the main issues, my main problems, guys, everything wrong so far with this BR, and as well on top of that, leave a comment down below. There is a chance that Valve employees or anyone tied to Valve could watch this video, so leave your feedback, guys, of what they can fix. Yes, you might be a heavy critic of this game mode, guys, but it cannot get better unless you leave your feedback. So do it here, do it on Twitter, do it anywhere publicly, and do it in a respectable manner, okay? Let's not bash Valve too much because they're actually trying, and I like seeing that. So first of all, guys, my main issue, I've already played maybe 10 to 15 matchups. I've only won a couple games so far. You guys can hate on me for my lack of skill whenever you want. I enjoyed the game mode immensely last night. I played with people I've not played with CSGO with in over a year, and I already like it a lot. I'll stream it this weekend. I'll stream it next weekend for the 24-hour stream. First of all, though, the biggest issue, there is no kill incentive in this game. Of course, with the lack of ammo, guys, it pretty much comes down to hiding. On top of that, very, very heavily RNG based from what I've noticed so far. And let me preface as well, guys, with every bad thing, there's also a good side of this, and that would be with the lack of ammo, it doesn't necessarily come down to skill. Sometimes you have to scavenge for the ammo you find, and a lot of battles out there, it usually comes down to, unfortunately enough, some of you might think RNG. It's not always the better man, the better skilled player. It usually comes down to who found the best weapon and who found more ammo, and on top of that, it really does come down to survival, which is the name of the game mode. So you're not going to run into people just running down throughout the entire map itself and just gunning down people. I mean, if you get dropped an AK in the game, you get 15 shots, you get half a clip. If you get dropped a P90, you get 16 shots, half a clip. So it really have to think about, it's really, in that sense, it's really strategic based. You have to think about where you're going to go, who you're going to shoot. You can see people across the map, but if you have a P90 in your hand, you're not going to shoot them unless you'll have to, go through the brush. You'll follow them slowly but surely and have to catch up with them. It's a great way to actually incentivize strategic based gameplay as opposed to just running down, that what we know, rush A, rush B with a P90 in hand and just spray as much as possible. So I honestly, I do like that, but it can also be a bit frustrating at times. I'm sure you guys have also seen the same things with this whole RNG base. There were a couple games there where I dropped in, and for the first 90 seconds, by the time someone found me, I had yet to find a weapon. Although I could find a molly, I could find a smoke, it was very frustrating. I couldn't even find a pistol, and of course I instantly died when I found someone who didn't want to fist fight me. But alongside that, there are so many features that are pretty darn cool so far. The fist in itself, if you guys don't know, you can actually hold down right click and do a super punch. You can break down boxes. There are certain heavy boxes, heavy crates that you can actually only break with a wrench, or you have to have a wrench. You can't break it with your fist. Those are the rifle crates. It's super cool. I love the tablet as well. If you guys don't know, the actual yellow zones that identify the yellow hexagons identify when players are in that specific zone. I love the tablet. You have to always be checking your tablet. Also, people can plant bombs. If you guys have to check your tablet to actually tell if you can hear that subtle beeping if you're in the bomb radius. So far, guys, the game mode, besides RNG, there's only a few bugs out. Okay, not a few. There's a lot of bugs. It's pretty clunky so far, but alongside that, though, with all these bugs, there are super positives to this game mode, and I can certainly see a future for it. So besides the RNG stuff, another big problem I had, the storm pretty much has no timer. Although, yes, the bombs go off before the storm moves in, there's really no set pattern as to when it's going to move in, so maybe I would fix that. Alongside that, the actual coordinates at the top of the screen are very, very hard to read. When you're playing with teammates, you have to really look and kind of look very closely to say, oh, teammate or enemy southwest 240. It's very, very hard to see the coordinates itself. That's a very minor issue. A big issue, though, that I had was actually drones dropping weapons and supplies in places I could not get to. Sometimes on roofs, sometimes in crevices that I could not reach. That's a big issue. But on the other side of that, though, the drones also give away your position. So that could be seen as a positive and a negative. If you're going to have to take the risk to order supplies, order armor, order a weapon, you take that risk of course, identifying where you are on the map, and of course, you get that reward for taking that risk. So again, there are so many sides to all of these. There's definitely trade-offs to the game mode so far. The biggest problem I've had so far is the RNG, but that's always going to happen in battle royales. And then very lastly, guys, my last issue is pretty much that the fact the storm usually ends in the direct middle of the map, which means you can very easily camp, you can very easily survive or hide to the end, and it's not too difficult to win this game mode, which again can be a good and a bad thing. I have many friends, if not all of my friends, who have won at least one game so far, which is great to get repeat players to actually keep on playing the game. But unfortunately enough, the storm does typically end around center map, so if you want to camp military or just camp radio station, you can certainly do that. I've done it a couple times as well. I haven't won any of those games, but it's certainly an advantage. You can easily get top 5 in terms of players overall if you just camp that center area. I would love an update, guys. Fortnite did a recent update as well where the storm actually finishes towards the outer edges more often, so every single game does end right towards the middle, which is pretty annoying. But still, it's been a great game mode so far. I really do not have too many issues with it, and to be honest, besides of course I guess one last issue, solos, duos, and trios are the only options, and 18 players of course maximum has to do with those deviations. So that's why you can't do squads with 18 players max. It doesn't really add up too much. And of course, if you only did 16 players, only 4 squads, it's not too big of a game. So that kind of bothers me a little bit. I'm sure in the future though, guys, imagine the possibilities of this game mode. Maybe brand new maps, maybe bigger maps, maybe extended armor, extended weapon pools as well. That should be a big thing coming in the future. And alongside that, maybe bigger games, maybe more players. I'm sure that's definitely where this game is going, or at least I cross my fingers and hope so. Overall, guys, I like the game mode so far. Yes, there are tons and tons and tons of issues, but that's expected. Honestly, for a launch, the amount of times it did not crash for me, it crashed the first time I played, and after that, it does seem to be fixed. There was apparently an AMD issue, so if you guys had AMD drivers, the game would crash. That issue has been solved. Overall, guys, I love the game mode. I will keep playing it, and I'm very excited to see where the future does take it. It does not hurt the game, in my opinion. If you guys disagree with me or agree with me, leave a comment down below. I am excited to see where this game mode does go. And very lastly, speaking of Danger Zone, guys, if you have played the game mode so far and have Prime status and have earned any amount of XP, you guys have probably gotten your free souvenir MP5 SD lab rats. Do not sell them on the market before you actually see the screenshots I'm going to show you guys. Thanks to my dear friend Matty Hawk, our OG Protney, for sending me these screenshots, guys. There are several variants of this souvenir that are going for very high prices, so be aware. You guys either got a field tested, minimal wear, or factory new version of them. If you were lucky enough to get factory new, you might have some of these variants. There are some actually really good ones out there, and so far the rarest of them actually have variants of both numbers as well as rats on the suppressor, the stock, or of course the clip of the weapon. If you guys also have the notorious red rat or a red version of the MP5 SD, you are lucky enough to have a version of the SD that is worth a lot of money. If you guys remember the XM 1014 seasons with the blue leaf on that shotgun, worth a decent amount of money. These so far are worth actually a lot more, especially if you guys have the notorious red rat on the suppressor. My friend Matty Hawk sent me this one, guys. It is absolutely beautiful so far, and I love seeing variants of skins going for high prices. This one upwards of $300. I also showed you guys other variants out there. If you have any full-size rats, any numbers, any red rats on your weapons, be careful, guys. Talk to some traders and try and sell your skins that way, because if you sell them on the market, there are plenty of people right now kind of scooping up all of these templates, all of these so far variants of the weapons. So it's very cool to see a brand new case. You know, I don't really buy cases, but it's also very cool to see these unique skins out there that have different variants. If you guys have the notorious red looking furry cute creature, well then you're lucky because you made some money. And very lastly in CSGO news, trust me guys, I will be back Monday. If you guys want a full breakdown, I think maybe I'll wait a little bit for maybe some updates to come to Danger Zone. I want to break down the entire game because there's so many tiny features that people do not know about. The fact that you can throw hammers, the fact that you can do super punches, there are so many things that people have been telling me and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So if you guys want a full breakdown in the future, leave a like or a comment. I cannot wait to do that because again, I can't stress enough, guys, I'm super excited about that game mode. I think it has a future and it's reinvigorated my actual my actual want to play CSGO for the time being. On top of that though, very lastly guys, and a very cool story that people are overlooking because of this brand new update, of course we had ESEA Mountain Dew League Global LAN Challenge this past few days, and some big teams have actually qualified their spots for EPL. First of which, guys, Freakazoid overcoming some great feats over there. He lost his brother, he lost Marky for their last matchup, two of their better players, and they made it through the entire season, guys, and they actually did qualify for EPL of course just a couple of days ago. Yesterday night though, again overshadowed by this brand new update, it was actually TaZ, guys, taking on his alma mater in the Virtus Pro lineup. Of course the only two players remaining on that Virtus Pro lineup, but still, nonetheless, imagine this, guys. TaZ, a guy who was a part of the longest standing Polish team, the longest standing CSGO roster in history, just over 4 years. He was then pushed to inactive. He was then pretty much forced to leave that roster to a lesser Polish team, that being Kinguin. Those two teams faced off last night, guys, in a best of 3 decider match, with the winner guaranteeing their EPL spot, and that will be, guys, TaZ and Kinguin. Imagine how this guy feels being pushed to the absolute limits, guys, going to that inferior Polish team and bringing them within a single year, guys. They have now qualified for their very first ever EPL season over the team that kicked him off that roster, which is, it's amazing, guys. And of course we have some tweets out that I feel so bad for Pasha. I love the guy to death. Unfortunately enough, he did tweet that out a couple weeks ago, or a solid few weeks ago. I had to screenshot that because I felt like when he said it, it was gonna come back to bite him. But anyway, you guys know I love the players over there. It's just really sad to see some players go home, but it's also very great and very satisfying to see a guy like TaZ within a year really turn this roster around and lead them back to EPL. Now, of course, those other players have done equal amounts of work. It's just great to see the success over there from that Kinguin roster, guys, as they rise now for the first time ever to EPL. But as always, guys, my name is Jake. I hope you guys all enjoy. I do apologize. I feel like I rambled today. It was a very long episode. I will see you guys back here Monday with some great stuff. And when I am back here Monday, you will notice something very different about me. I'm so nervous. Okay. Goodbye.